Alright, so today, YouTube, I'm going to talk about the basics of photography. So, where do we start? We start with the camera body. So this is a film, FM10, Nikon of course, I'm a Nikon lover. And the real basics of photography, what do we have in a camera body? Well, every single camera body is going to have a shutter button, a mirror for the this is why it's SLR. It's a single lens reflex, so that's why it's called SLR. And the older school cameras had they had about a twin lens, so that would be like the little cameras up here, like I mean not the little cameras but the little lens. There's some of them, I believe some of the posable cameras have that. They have the lens and the little viewfinder on the top, so that's a twin, not a single lens reflex. So on the older style film, you have the knob for the film, and you have the ISO and the shutter speed, and of course the lever over here. I don't know the exact name of it, but mirror inside, and behind there you have the shutter curtain. So the shutter curtain is basically, it's closed right now because I don't have the shutter button pushed down. But the reason why I can keep this the way you see it right here without worrying about dust or anything like that, well, you can probably worry about dust, but the only dust that's going to sit on here is just on the mirror here. But on digital digital SLRs, you do have to worry about the dust because that actually gets on the image sensor. So the good thing about the film is you don't have to worry about that, because whatever dust sits on the curtain, as soon as you push that button over here, it opens up and there's no dust on the film. So I can have this open as much as I want. I could carry this around like this, you know, not worry about having dust spots on my images when I develop them. And what else? So I've already talked about ISO. You're always gonna have the straps here. Always, it's always good to carry it around your neck. You don't want to drop this. I've dropped this a couple of times, but it survived. It's not really super high technical. It's actually a robust design. And if you look underneath, you see that right there? That's actually the focus. This is those older style focus. I actually forgot the term for this type of focus, but underneath there you have two like cuts. Like it's a circle and it's cut in half. So if it's not lining up in there, then that's how you know it's focused, when it lines up. So I actually like this type of focusing. It makes it a lot more easier to focus, especially in low light conditions where you can't really see it. And that's what I love about this camera body. I wish I had this on some of my digital SLRs. What else do we have on here? We have the lens release button right over here. So this is how you release the lens, and the little white dot up here is for to line the lens and fit it properly inside. The shutter speed is just basically to give it a different effect or to match with whatever lighting condition you're using. So if you're, let's say you want to put motion in, if you want to put motion in the image, you just got to make this a lot slower by just turning it or adjusting it on your camera. So you can make this slower, giving it motion in your image. Like if you'd want to take a picture of a waterfall, you know, just make the film slower. But if you do that, remember you also have to alter other things. But if you have a digital camera, I'm pretty sure if you just make the priority for aperture, for shutter speed, it'll fix everything else for you. But if you're doing it on a camera like this, or you have to remember to keep an eye on the light meter, which is inside of your viewfinder. Now the light meter is pretty much your best friend when you're taking pictures. Just remember that the light meter in these, on the bodies, and the camera bodies, are not those height, those, I mean, they're the best, but there's different type of light meters out there that you can buy, and some of those are pinpoint accurate light meters. Depending on what you're shooting, let's say you're trying to shoot someone in a wide area, and there's light coming in from every angle, then it's going to affect the light meter. So what you want to do is get a little bit closer to your subject and record the light meter on that specific spot, and then just walk back and take the picture, and that's how you're guaranteed to get a good exposure in the image. But let's see. Oh, and you have your counter, of course. This lets you know how many images you've already taken, or how many images you have left. And that's the raw basics of the camera body. So here we have a 1.8 D. So this is, of course, if you've seen in my other videos, it has the aperture ring. The aperture ring is just the light that comes into the camera body. So if you see me, this is actually at the highest f-stop, which is 22 on this lens, as you can see. Alright, so this, just like I said earlier, this helps out on many different things. This type of lens gives you great creamy background, which is bokeh, and of course having it opened gives you a better effect of that creamy background. And this actually lets help you out with slower speed film. So let's see what happens when I start closing it up. You see that? That's the shutter working. Okay, and once again, this gives you a different effect on your images. So let's say you want to take that waterfall with motion outside. So what are you going to do? Slower speed means you need less light. So we need to close that up. Okay? Let's say you want to do some speed photography, which is capture water or whatnot. You probably want to have that wide open, so you could have a faster shutter speed. Alright? So depending on the ISO that you're using, that's going to affect it too. So higher ISO means you could take faster pictures. So ISO would also affect the sharpness in the picture by probably adding a little bit more, going up a couple more f-stops in the picture. So depending on the camera you have, and on the film speed, and on other like tripods and other tools, flashes. So, but the 1.8 is actually the best one for bokeh. But there's also even better f-stops, which is the 1.4, and those are pretty much more expensive. But this is let's see what we have in this lens. Oops. In this lens we have two rings. We have two rings in this one. We have the focus ring, and we have the aperture ring. So this is a fixed lens. There is no zoom in it. There is no zoom, there is no length, anything like that on this one. So when you're shooting with this one, you would have to be more active. You're moving up and down to get that good crop of an image.